Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Boost! Available in 2018, the cover album. Morphe. The Morphe affiliate link below. So I was sitting around here today and I had like all these drama videos I was gonna make, right? And I may still make one and upload another video today. I used to back in the day when I first started my channel. I love YouTube so much that I would upload 2, sometimes 3 videos a day on this channel and on my BookTube channel. I was making like 6, 7 videos a day. I love this so much. And when I started, if you've watched my YouTube channel for a long time, I started as an uber fan of YouTube and watching YouTubers and just kind of commenting on them and falling down the rabbit hole of YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And I adore it to this day. So, you know, I was sitting here and I was thinking, I haven't made like really a sit down video in quite some time where I just talk about like some issue in my life or something that happened. And last fall, I said I was going to be committed to making like 1 video a week or 1 video every other week about social issues or something out there to maybe even, if I can even just impact just one person to make them think differently about the world or think differently about themselves or to help them out or whatever, if that makes sense. And so I thought, you know, I want to do that today. And I don't even know why this is the topic that came to my mind, but I receive comments on a regular basis. First of all, if you're gonna start, people ask me all the time, like, what do you need to do to start a YouTube channel? Well, first of all, what you need to do is get prepared for the comments, because you're gonna get some comments, okay? You're gonna get some comments that you're gonna think to yourself, how does somebody sit there behind a computer screen or behind a phone and actually say this to another human being, like, and then they're okay with themselves? Like, how do they live with themselves feeling so much anger and hatred in their heart, which is truly what it is. It doesn't say anything about the YouTuber. It says something about the person that's commenting negatively or out of anger or hatred on their videos. It really says everything about that person and nothing about the YouTuber. But at the same time, you have to be prepared. And I have known so many people that make YouTube videos that the comments are really, really hard for them. Like they can't handle them at times. And it's interesting because when I started, the regular comments that I got that were negative were A, about my sexuality, about being gay, B, about being old, because I'm the old man of YouTube, and I've kind of owned that one. I like that now. And then the third one was about my voice. People would always say things about my voice. Well, going into this, I knew that those were probably going to be the 3 comments that I was going to get, for the main reason that I have been dealing with this the entirety of my life. Like, my voice doesn't sound a whole lot different now than it did when I was 5 or 6 years old. When I was 5 or 6 years old, partly as a result of my voice and the way that I move and what is stereotypically gay in our society, the kids at the lunch table and people started bullying me, started calling me gay, homo, faggot, all that kind of stuff, right? And it was hard. It was tough, you know, because people were talking about me in a way that I wasn't even aware of yet, if that makes sense. And I've talked about this in videos about my coming out experience and about being bullied, that one of the hardest things for me about all of that was that they were saying things about me that I didn't even know was true about myself yet. So later in life, when I came out and I owned my experience, I owned my truth, one of the hardest things about that was that I had to admit that these people that had been making fun of me, teasing me, bullying me, you know, saying all these things about me had been right to some extent. Now, the language that they used, the words that they used were not correct. They were not appropriate and they were hurtful. But the truth behind those words was correct. And that was kind of a hard pill to swallow, so to speak, you know, that all this time that I was like fighting against, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. And then I come to this period in my life where I'm like, okay, yes, you are. That all these people that had said this stuff about me, they had owned my truth for a very long period of time. And it wasn't my truth that I was allowed to come out on my own terms. It was like I was pushed out, if that makes sense. So, you know, me coming out was about me taking ownership back over my life, my choices, who I love, and who I choose to be with. And that's why it's very important for me today to declare that I am a very proud gay married man. And, you know, But going back before that, I heard everything you can possibly hear. And it was always around my voice. And, people would always make fun of me and, oh, really? And, do all this kind of flamboyant bullshit, of which, if I'm being honest, I have a lot of those. I mean, let's be for real, okay? I sound like a 45-year-old Valley girl. I mean, I know I do, okay? I watched all the Valley Girl movies back in the day. All of my girlfriends were girls. They all talked real flamboyantly, blah, blah, blah. People say my cousin Caroline, who was an idol of mine growing up, sound very similar. If she and I were sitting next to each other, our nuances of how we speak and what we say are very similar. I was raised by a single mother and a single father, but I was with my mom most of the time. A lot of the things I say sound just like her. When I used to answer the phone in high school, people would say, could we speak to Mrs. Monn, or is this Mrs. Monn? And I'd say yes sometimes because I just didn't want to deal with the bullshit, right? So anyway, that goes on, and I graduate from high school, and I, come out into the gay community, and even within the gay community, there was this, stigma or this stereotype to, that I was so effeminate or that my voice sounded so gay and things like that. In 2018, we live in a different world. You can see a guy that's gay or bisexual, and he is super masculine and might have a really effeminate voice. Or, you can see somebody that's, really thin and what we would, define as stereotypically gay, and they can have a very masculine voice, or vice versa. There's all combinations of all different things out there, right? And I think that today the gay community is a lot more inclusive than it was when I came out. It was very, clicked into different stereotypes. And I even had a boyfriend at one point that said to me that he could no longer date me because I was too effeminate. And that's really hard. When you have a straight guy telling you that you're too effeminate or tone it down, and I've had a lot of people in my life be like, you need to tone it down a little bit, right? That's hard, but you understand that. When it's a contemporary of yours or somebody that you're dating that finds you attractive, but then as soon as you go, girl, whatever, or something like that, and they're turned off by that, it's okay. So, it's hard when you are coming out and you're trying to figure out who you are and you hate your voice, right? Flash forward to me getting sober, and then I start working in a treatment facility, and I started working with teenagers. Now, I don't think it's any surprise to anybody that teenagers can be cruel, right? And every day that I walked in, I had to walk past the lounge, and I would hear things, that I would walk by these kids, and some of these kids would be like, oh, girl, what's up? Hey, hey. And, it was always that, always this mocking of my voice, this making fun of my mannerisms, on and on and on. I didn't flip a fan then, but I might as well have. But anyway, just lost a fan off that one. So anyway, it was hard for me, it was, I would walk by there and kids would mock me, and to my face they never would, because they wouldn't be that disrespectful. And that's the thing, okay, is that people very rarely will be completely disrespectful to your face. They can sit behind a computer screen, they can sit behind a phone, and they can type in some shitty comment and say things like, oh, your voice is annoying, I can't listen to one more second of you. Well, then don't. Go find somebody else that has a deep masculine voice if that's what turns you on, and you gotta listen to those kind of videos, and that's what you're here for on YouTube. That's not what I'm here for. On and on and on. But to say that those comments aren't hurtful is a lie. They have hurt me through the years. And it's really made me, throughout the entirety of my life, wish that my voice sounded different. Now, here's the thing. I grew up in a different generation. I grew up in a generation where we didn't know what our voices sounded like, right? Because we didn't have voicemail, and the only way you would hear your voice is if you recorded it on a tape recorder and played it back, and then all of us would be like, oh, that's not how I sound. I don't sound that way, right? Do you guys remember that back in the day if you're as old as I am? But we live in a different world today, okay? We live in a world where we record videos on our phone real quick and show them to our friends and all that kind of stuff. And so most of us today know how our voice sounds to the real world. Well, let me tell you how I found out how my voice sounded in the real world. Was that my husband and I used to do this guest spot on a radio show. And when I would listen to it back, I would be like, I do not sound like that. Do I really sound like that? And I hated it, right? And I didn't hate it because of how it sounded, because there is nothing wrong with how I sound. My voice is unique. The characteristics of my voice are different than other people, not better, not worse, unless they are defined by societal standards. But my voice is not good, not bad. There's nothing wrong with my voice. But I knew that my voice matched what people had said about me for many, many years. I knew that my voice was effeminate. I knew that it was twangy. I knew that it was, valley girlish and all that kind of stuff. And I knew that it was not masculine. And as gay men in our society, that is something that we fight for, right? Is this idea of masculinity and how does it fit into being gay? And it's a struggle. It really, really is. Maybe not so much today as it was when I came out, but when I came out, you didn't hear about the guys that had been in the military that were, standing there in a bar and they were like, who, you didn't hear about the rugby players and the football players. There was none of that, right? It was something that people looked down on to be gay. So to have a voice that matched that was very, very difficult. Flash forward, I get on YouTube, right? And I start getting these comments, and people are saying stuff to me like, oh my God, your voice is nauseating. Your voice is painful to listen to. I can't stand one more second of you. How do you speak sounding like that? Doesn't it drive you crazy? And the favorite comment that I've ever gotten into my entire life, and I've gotten it actually more than once, is your voice is causing my ears to have cancer. Really? Wow. And I was thinking about that today because that's a really harsh statement to say to somebody. And, what's interesting about it is I'm kind of immune to it today. Those comments don't really bother me like they did when I started on YouTube. And that's a sad statement, okay? That's a sad statement that I am okay with somebody coming to my videos and trashing the shit out of something that I can't change about myself. What's an even sadder commentary about that is that, people feel the right to say those things to other human beings. And I say this in all of my videos, in all my drama videos, there's always some kind of learning experience at the end. And I'm like, don't we want to be better, more compassionate, kinder human beings? But the lesson for me is in YouTube, period. I didn't start YouTube until I was 43 years old. And that's a long time to not be okay with your voice. To then go 6 months into that, and every time somebody would leave a comment on my videos about my voice, I would be like, God, is my voice really that bad? I would ask my husband, he'd be like, your voice is not that bad. Your voice is you. Your voice is Peter. What's wrong with that, He's like, I love your voice. There's nothing wrong with your voice. And I really struggled with it. And then one night, in last January, a year ago January, when I started my vlog, somebody commented on my video and they said, I love your voice. I go to sleep at night listening to your vlogs because your voice is so soothing to me. And all of a sudden I had this complete paradigm shift because somebody else was seeing my voice in a completely different way than I had heard people see it or hear it my entire life, okay? They no longer saw it as this negative thing. They no longer heard it as this whiny, valley girlish kind of thing. They heard it as soothing. And I thought they were a liar. I thought there's no truth to this. They're just being nice, right? And then I got another comment from somebody else. And then I got another comment from somebody else. And then I said some things in videos about my voices and other people were like, I love your voice. Your voice is unique. Your voice is you. You wouldn't be you without your voice. And I was like, this is crazy. This is amazing, right? And then I started realizing, working through some gratitude in my life, that there are a lot of people out of fear or out of physical means or whatever that do not have a voice. And that I was going to use my voice for positive. That I was going to use my voice, as annoying as it might be to somebody, okay? I was going to use it for good. I was going to use it for compassion. And I was going to learn to fall in love with my voice. And I remembered something that my mother said to me, and I've shared this on my videos a lot, is don't value the opinion of someone you do not value to begin with. And the other thing that she used to say to me was, when you walk down the street, hold your head up high and refuse to be the victim of someone else's oppression, okay? And what that means is that when somebody puts me down or somebody calls me a name or somebody tries to put me into a box and a shelf somewhere over here and say, this is who you are and your voice is annoying and you're disgusting and whatever, I have to choose to sit in that box and be oppressed. I choose not to be oppressed today. I choose to not value the opinion of those people that I don't value to begin with. And when you come to my videos and you leave nasty comments, or you come to my face, or you talk behind my back, or you say things as I'm walking down a hallway about my voice, or whatever, or like happened to me in a gas station a year ago, I said something to the guy at the gas station. As soon as I turned around, this guy that was standing behind me looked at me and he goes, faggot. I said, excuse me? He goes, faggot. because of how I sound. That makes it okay to talk to me that way. No, that's not okay. And that says something more about him than it does about me. And what I have learned over time is that my voice is unique to me. I watched this documentary and it was called Do I Sound Gay? And it was so hard for me to watch this video to see other gay men go through the same struggles that I had gone through, and some of them even went through voice training lessons to change their voice. I am not about all that. I feel for those men, I sympathize and empathize with those men, and I have compassion for them, but this is who I am, and I love every ounce of who I am, including my voice, which I do not believe today to be annoying. I believe it to be unique to who I am as a human being. And I will never apologize for that. And if other people have a problem with that, then they can just move on. Because I am obviously not a gig for them. And that's okay. And we can like who we like, and we don't have to like other people. But let's not judge people based on things they cannot change about themselves, even if maybe they could. And 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, if you asked me, would you change your voice if you could? I would have said absolutely. Today, I would say absolutely not. I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye.